Admiral He-jin stood at the large window of the Galactic Council's observation post, his hands clasped behind his back. His eyes were fixed on the holographic display showing Earth's communication networks. For 200 years, these networks had been alive with signals, sending music, stories, and scientific discoveries across the galaxy. But today, something was different. "Admiral, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Yoon, her voice shaking slightly. She pointed to the main screen, where the usual streams of data from Earth were disappearing one by one. He-jin walked closer to the screen. In his 30 years of watching Earth, he had never seen anything like this. The planet that never stopped talking was going quiet. "Get me a direct line to their defense command," he ordered. The room filled with the sound of officers working at their stations, trying to make contact with Earth. "No response, sir," reported Yoon after several attempts. "We're not even getting an automated message." He-jin felt a chill run down his spine. Earth's automated response systems had been running without fail since they joined the galactic community. Even during their worst natural disasters, some form of communication had remained active. "What about their entertainment channels?" he asked. Earth's entertainment networks were famous across the galaxy. Many alien species had learned to speak human languages just by watching their shows. "All quiet, sir." The last transmission was a children's cartoon about a talking spaceship. It cut off mid-sentence. The Admiral pulled up his personal communication device and contacted the council chamber. Within minutes, the faces of 12 council members appeared on the screen. They represented the most powerful species in the galaxy. "Honorable council members," He-jin began, "Earth has gone silent. All communications have ceased. We have no explanation for this change." Council member Rai-su, an elderly woman with sharp eyes, leaned forward. "Could this be a technical problem on our end?" "No, council member. We are receiving clear signals from all other worlds. Only Earth is silent." "What about their ships?" asked another council member. "Are they still following normal flight paths?" He-jin checked the traffic monitors. "All human ships in space have changed course. They are returning to Earth at maximum speed." The council chamber grew quiet. Everyone remembered the stories about Earth's history. Humans had a reputation for being unpredictable. When they first joined the galactic community, many species had laughed at their simple technology. But humans had learned and adapted faster than anyone expected. "Admiral," said Rai-su, her voice firm, "I want all available ships to observe Earth from a safe distance. Do not approach or attempt to enter their space without permission. If they are planning something, we must be careful not to provoke them." He-jin nodded and began giving orders to his staff. Around him, the observation post buzzed with activity. Officers sent messages to ships near Earth, telling them to keep their distance but watch carefully. As the Admiral looked back at the silent Earth displayed on his screen, he remembered something his teacher had once told him. The most dangerous moment is not when an enemy is shouting threats, but when they suddenly go quiet. The next few hours were tense. Reports came in from ships around Earth. They all said the same thing. No signals, no communications, no explanation. The planet that had shared everything with the galaxy for 2 centuries had simply stopped talking. He-jin felt uneasy. In all his years watching Earth, one thing had been clear. Humans never did anything without a reason. The silence wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. The question was, a beginning of what? Senior analyst Jae-yun sat in her small office aboard the Galactic Council's main station, surrounded by screens showing data from Earth's last transmissions. She had been working for 16 hours straight, looking for any clue about why Earth had gone silent. "There has to be something here," she muttered, rubbing her tired eyes. Jae-yun had spent 5 years studying human communication patterns. She knew they always left hints about their plans, if you knew where to look. Her computer beeped, making her jump. A new message appeared on her screen. Unusual pattern detected in final transmission. Jae-yun sat up straight and began typing quickly. The computer had found something hidden in Earth's last broadcast, the children's cartoon about the talking spaceship. Behind the simple story, there was another signal, carefully encrypted. "Get me Admiral He-Jin," she said to her communication system. Within moments, the Admiral's face appeared on her screen. "This better be important, Analyst Jai-yun," he said, looking as tired as she felt. "Sir, I found something. A hidden message in the last transmission from Earth. It's from Defense Commander Taiwan himself." The Admiral's expression changed instantly. Commander Taiwan was Earth's highest-ranking military officer and rarely communicated directly with the Galactic Council. "What does it say?" He-Jin asked. Jai-yun's fingers flew over her keyboard, breaking through the last layers of encryption. "Just 5 words. Sir, the sleeping giant prepares itself." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Could this be a threat? "I don't think so, sir," Jai-yun replied. "Look at how it was hidden. In a children's show, using an encryption method we taught them. They wanted us to find this, but not too quickly." He-Jin nodded slowly. "What else can you tell me about the message?" Jai-yun pulled up more data on her screen. "The encryption method is interesting, sir. It's like they used our own code, but made it better. And the energy signature of the transmission, it's different from anything I've seen before." "Different how?" "It's more efficient. Usually, human transmissions waste a lot of energy. This one was perfect. Not a single wasted bit of data. It's like they suddenly mastered communication technology far beyond their known level." The Admiral's face showed concern. Could they have been hiding their true capabilities all this time? Before Jai-yun could answer, another alarm sounded. Her screens filled with new data from the observation posts near Earth. "Sir," she said, her voice tense, "we're detecting unusual energy readings from the entire Sol system. They're very faint, but they form a pattern. It's like the whole system is humming." He-Jin turned to speak to someone off-screen, then looked back at Jai-yun. "The council is calling an emergency meeting. I want you there. Bring everything you found." "Yes, sir," Jai-yun replied. As the Admiral's image disappeared, she began gathering her data. The sleeping giant, she thought. Everyone in the galaxy knew that humans called Earth the sleeping giant during something they called World War I. But what were they preparing for now? As she walked to the council chamber, Jai-yun remembered all the human entertainment she had watched over the years. They loved stories about underdogs who seemed weak but were actually powerful. Stories about people who pretended to be less than they were, waiting for the right moment to reveal their true strength. Had humanity been writing their own story all along? Had they been showing the galaxy exactly what they wanted it to see? The doors of the council chamber opened before her. Inside, the most powerful beings in the galaxy waited to hear what she had found. Jai-yun took a deep breath and walked in, carrying the message from a planet that had decided to stop talking. But maybe, she thought, the silence itself was the loudest message of all. Veteran diplomat Sung-ho walked slowly through the Galactic Council's Hall of Records. His footsteps echoed in the quiet space as he approached the section about Earth's first contact. At 87 years old, he was one of the few people still alive who had been present when humans joined the galactic community. The Council had called him out of retirement to help understand Earth's silence. Now, standing before the historical displays, he remembered that first meeting 200 years ago. "Computer, show me the first contact recordings," he said. The air in front of him filled with images of the first human ships meeting the Council fleet. They looked so simple compared to other species' vessels, like children's toys next to advanced machinery. "Stop playback," Sung-ho commanded. He turned as Admiral He-Jin, and Analyst Jai-yun entered the hall. "Thank you for coming, Diplomat Sung-ho," He-Jin said, bowing slightly to the older man. "We need your insight." Sung-ho nodded and pointed to the frozen image. "Look at their ships." Everyone thought humans were far behind us technologically, but noticed something interesting. They built those ships just 6 months after learning about our existence. Jia stepped closer to the image. 6 months. That's impossible. Most species take years to develop their first interstellar ships. Humans are different, Sungho said. They don't advance gradually. They make huge leaps when they need to. He walked to another display. Computer, show Earth's technological progress timeline. A chart appeared, showing how human technology had developed. There were long periods of slow growth, then sudden jumps forward. See these spikes? Sungho asked. Each one happened when humans faced a challenge. When they needed to solve a problem quickly, they found a way. But they've been so open with their progress. Jin said. They share everything they develop. Sungho smiled slightly. Do they? Or do they share what they want us to see? He moved to another display. Look at their history before first contact. They had something called the Manhattan Project, a secret program that developed powerful weapons. The world didn't know about it until the weapons were used. Jiayan's eyes widened. You think they've been running secret programs all this time? I think, Sungho said carefully, that humans learned from their history. They learned that appearing weak while being strong is an advantage. They learned that sharing some discoveries can hide others. He turned to face the admiral and analyst. When humans joined us, many council members laughed at their simple technology. But I noticed something others missed. Humans weren't embarrassed by being behind. They were patient. They asked questions. They learned. Jin frowned. What are you suggesting? In 200 years, Sungho explained, humans have caught up with technology that took other species thousands of years to develop. And they did it while making it look natural and easy. He walked to a final display showing Earth's current status, now dark and silent. We thought we were teaching them, but maybe they were learning more than we realized. Maybe they were waiting until they had learned enough. Enough for what? Jiayan asked quietly. Sungho touched the display, his old hand trembling slightly. That's what worries me. In all my years studying humans, I learned one important thing. They never stop advancing. The only question is, what have they become while we thought we were watching them? The three stood in silence, looking at the dark image of Earth. Around them, the Hall of Records held the story of humanity's rise from a primitive civilization to a galactic power. But now, Sungho wondered if that story was only the beginning, or perhaps a cover for a much bigger tale that was about to unfold. Research Director Youngmei stood before the Galactic Council, her presentation ready. The council chamber was packed with representatives from every major species. They had gathered to hear her findings about Earth's recent technological advances. Honorable council members, Youngmei began, her voice steadied despite her nervousness. I have reviewed all human technological submissions from the past 50 years. What I found is concerning. She displayed a hologram showing Earth's scientific papers and patents. At first glance, these submissions seemed normal. Humans shared everything from better farming methods to improved spaceship engines. But there is a pattern. Council member Raisu leaned forward. What kind of pattern, Director Youngmei? Youngmei touched her control panel, highlighting certain submissions. Each major breakthrough they shared was carefully chosen. They showed us advances in specific areas while staying quiet about related fields. She brought up an example, a human design for a new communication system. Look at this device they shared 5 years ago. It uses quantum principles for faster messaging. They explained exactly how it works. But now I realize, they never showed us how they solved the quantum entanglement problem. Admiral Jin, sitting in the front row, spoke up. Could they have simply not solved it? Youngmei shook her head. The device wouldn't work without that solution. They found it, but they didn't share it. And this pattern repeats hundreds of times. She showed more examples, medical treatments that worked amazingly well, but with key steps missing from the documentation. Engine designs that were more efficient than anything before, but with gaps in the theoretical framework. They showed us the results, Mai explained, but not the core breakthroughs that made them possible. It's like they gave us pieces of a puzzle while keeping the most important parts. The council chamber grew quiet as the implications became clear. Diplomat Sung-ho, who had been listening from his seat, nodded slowly as if his suspicions were being confirmed. Mi continued, "There's more." The speed of their submissions followed a very regular pattern, too regular, almost as if they were carefully controlling the pace of their revelations. She displayed a timeline of human innovations. They released new technologies at exactly the rate we expected from their development level. Never too fast to cause alarm, never too slow to lose our interest. "Are you suggesting," Council Member Raisu asked, "that humans have been deliberately managing our perception of their capabilities?" "Yes," Mai replied. "But the truly worrying part is what this means. If these were the advances they chose to show us, what have they been keeping hidden?" She showed her final slide, a calculation of possible human technological development based on the hidden patterns in their submissions. The numbers were staggering. "If I'm right," she said, her voice now very serious, "Earth's current technology level could be far beyond what we imagined." Their visible progress was like a carefully practiced dance, showing us just enough to seem transparent while masking their true advances. The council chamber erupted in worried discussions. Mai stood quietly, watching the reactions. In her years studying human technology, she had always admired their creativity. Now she wondered if their greatest creation had been the image they showed to the galaxy, the image of a young, developing civilization that was just learning to walk among the stars. As the council debated what to do, Mai thought about Earth's silence. Perhaps it wasn't a warning. Perhaps it was simply that humanity had finally stopped pretending to be less than they were. Captain Minji stood on the bridge of her scout ship, the Stargazer, watching her crew work at their stations. They were positioned at the edge of the Sol system, monitoring Earth from a safe distance as ordered by the Galactic Council. "Captain," called out her sensor officer, "energy readings are changing across the system." Minji walked to the sensor station. The officer's screen showed waves of energy spreading out from Earth. They were unlike anything she had seen before, perfectly controlled and incredibly precise. "Send the data to the council immediately," she ordered. Then she saw something that made her stop. "Wait." Enhance Sector 7. The screen zoomed in on what looked like empty space near Earth's moon. As they watched, something appeared. Then another. And another. "Full system scan," Minji commanded. Her crew worked quickly, scanning every part of the Sol system. What they found made them all stare in disbelief. Satellites were appearing everywhere. Not new ones being launched, but existing ones becoming visible. They had been there all along, hidden by technology far more advanced than anything humans were supposed to have. "How many?" Minji asked quietly. "Thousands, Captain," her officer replied. "No, tens of thousands. They form a network covering the entire system, and they're all activating at once." Minji contacted the Galactic Council immediately. Admiral Heijin's face appeared on her screen, along with Research Director Mai and Diplomat Sung-ho. "Council members," Minji reported, "Earth's defense grid is revealing itself. The humans have hidden satellites throughout their entire system. They're far more advanced than anything we thought they had." She sent them the sensor data. Mai studied it and gasped. "These satellites, the technology is incredible. The way they stayed hidden all this time, they must have developed cloaking systems beyond our best theoretical models." "That's not all," Minji added. "The satellites are moving. They're forming new patterns, creating some kind of structure around Earth." They all watched as the satellites shifted position with impossible precision. Energy flowed between them, creating a web of light around the planet. "The sleeping giant prepares itself." Sung-ho quoted the message from Earth. Now we know what they were preparing for. This wasn't built in a day or a year. This is the work of decades, maybe centuries. Admiral Heijin's face showed deep concern. Captain Minji, can you tell if this is a weapon system? Minji checked her readings again. No, sir. The energy patterns are wrong for weapons. It's more like they're building something. A framework for something bigger. As they spoke, more satellites appeared. The energy web grew stronger. Earth glowed at the center of it all, silent but far from sleeping. All those years, young Mai said softly, we thought they were just learning from us. But they were building this, piece by piece, hiding it in plain sight. Minji watched the magnificent display of technology and planning unfold before her. The humans had turned their entire solar system into something new, something that had never been seen before, and they had done it while the galaxy watched, never noticing until the humans chose to reveal it. Orders, Admiral, Minji asked. Hold position, Heijin replied. Watch and record everything. But do not interfere. Humanity has shown us they are far more capable than we imagined. Now we wait to see what they do next. The doors of the Galactic Council chamber opened. Ambassador Du-hyun walked in calmly, his footsteps echoing in the sudden silence. It was the first time anyone from Earth had appeared since their world went quiet 3 days ago. The council members watched him closely. Admiral Heijin noticed that Du-hyun looked different somehow. His movements were more graceful, his presence more commanding. Even his traditional diplomatic robes seemed to shimmer in an unusual way. Honorable Council, Du-hyun began, his voice clear and strong. I bring a message from Earth. Council member Raisu spoke first. Ambassador, your world has caused great concern. Your silence, your hidden technologies, your system-wide activation. Many fear these are preparations for war. Do-hyun smiled gently. If we wanted war, would we have waited 200 years? Would we have shared our discoveries, even the limited ones we chose to reveal? No, respected Council. We have not been preparing for war. We have been preparing to evolve. He raised his hand, and a hologram appeared above the council table. It showed Earth at the center of its newly revealed network of satellites. What you see is not a weapon, Du-hyun explained. It is a cradle, a framework for transformation. Humanity has been working toward this moment since before we met our galactic neighbors. Young Mei, who had been studying the hologram, spoke up. The energy patterns, they're like nothing we've ever seen. Because they are not meant to destroy or defend, Du-hyun said. They are meant to transcend, to help humanity take its next step forward. He touched the hologram, and it changed to show the complex web of energy surrounding Earth. For centuries, we have pushed the boundaries of what is possible. We learned from every species we met, but we also followed our own path, seeking something more than simple technological advancement. The council chamber was completely silent now. Every being present could feel that they were witnessing a historic moment. The silence you observed, Du-hyun continued, was not a sign of hostility. It was the quiet of concentration, of preparation. Like a butterfly entering its chrysalis, humanity needed stillness for its transformation. Admiral Heijin stepped forward. What kind of transformation? Do-hyun's eyes seemed to glow slightly as he answered. We have found a way to merge consciousness with technology. Not as simple cyborgs or digital copies, but as something entirely new. The network you see is not just satellites and energy. It is an extension of what humanity is becoming. The ambassador touched his chest. Even now, as I stand before you, I am connected to the whole of human consciousness. We have not abandoned our individuality, but we have transcended its limitations. Diplomat Sun-ho, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. You hid this capability all along. The technologies you shared were carefully chosen, Du-hyun finished. We shared what would help other species progress while keeping private the advances that would lead to this transformation. We needed to be sure we could complete our evolution without interference or manipulation. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of each council member. Humanity has not gone silent. We have simply moved beyond traditional forms of communication. And now that our transformation is complete, we come to you not as a threat, but as an invitation. The council members exchanged glances. An invitation to what? Raisu asked. To join us in the next step of galactic evolution, Do-hyun replied. If you are ready. Lead scientist Kyung-mei worked in her laboratory aboard the Galactic Council's main research station. Her screens showed data from Earth's transformation, collected by thousands of sensors across the galaxy. She had not slept in 2 days, too fascinated by what she was discovering. Admiral Hae-jin entered the laboratory, followed by Research Director Young-mai and Ambassador Do-hyun. The ambassador's presence made the other scientists in the lab stop and stare. They had all heard about humanity's transformation, but seeing a transformed human up close was different. You called us here, lead scientist, Hae-jin said. What have you found? Kyung-mi gestured to her main screen. I've been studying the energy patterns from Earth's network. What they've done is brilliant. They didn't just create new technology. They found a way to change what it means to be human. She brought up a detailed scan of Ambassador Do-hyun. Look at this. His body appears normal, but it's surrounded by quantum fields that connect directly to his consciousness. The humans haven't just linked their minds to machines. They've turned consciousness itself into a form of technology. Can you explain that in simpler terms? Young-mai asked. Kyung-mai thought for a moment. Imagine consciousness as a song. Before, each human mind was like a single instrument playing alone. Now they've found a way to join all those instruments into a perfect orchestra, while still letting each one play its own part. Do-hyun nodded. A good comparison. We remain individuals, but we share a deeper connection than was ever possible before. But how did you do it? Kyung-mai asked, her scientific curiosity clear in her voice. The energy requirements alone should have been impossible. The ambassador smiled. Remember those missing pieces in our technological submissions? The quantum entanglement solutions we never shared. They were all parts of this greater discovery. We found that consciousness itself can be quantumly entangled, just like particles. Kyung-mi's eyes widened as she understood. The network of satellites. It's not just a communication system. It's a quantum consciousness amplifier. Yes, Do-hyun confirmed. Each satellite contains millions of quantum-entangled particles, all linked to human consciousness. The network lets us share thoughts, memories, and experiences across any distance instantly. Hae-jin looked concerned. Is it safe? Have you lost yourselves in this shared consciousness? Kyung-mai answered before Do-hyun could speak. No, Admiral. Look at these brain-wave patterns. Each human mind remains distinct. They've somehow achieved perfect balance between unity and individuality. She showed more data on her screens. And there's something else. The energy patterns from Earth, they're not just affecting human consciousness. They're changing the very fabric of space-time around the planet. Is that dangerous? Young-mai asked. Just the opposite, Kyung-mai replied excitedly. They're stabilizing it, making it more efficient. It's like they're smoothing out the wrinkles in reality itself. The possibilities for advancement are endless. Do-hyun stepped forward. That is why we came back to the council. What we've achieved isn't just for humanity. It's the next step in the evolution of all conscious beings. We spent centuries perfecting it, making sure it would be safe and accessible to any species ready to take that step. Kyung-mai looked at her readings again. The transformation process, it's beautiful in its simplicity. You found a way to elevate consciousness itself to a new level of existence. As the others discussed the implications, Kyung-mi continued studying her data. In all her years of scientific research, she had never seen anything so elegant, so perfectly designed. Humanity hadn't just evolved. They had discovered a new path for all sentient life. Grand Council Member Won Seok stood at the center of the Galactic Council chamber. A month had passed since Earth's transformation, and today he would present the Council's official response to humanity's invitation. The chamber was more crowded than ever before. Representatives from every known civilization had come to hear the decision. Ambassador Duhyun sat quietly in the Earth section, his presence both reassuring and slightly unsettling to those around him. Fellow beings of the galaxy, Won Seok began, his voice carrying to every corner of the vast room. We have spent the past month studying humanity's transformation. We have examined their technology, their intentions, and their offer to share this evolution with other species. He gestured to the various experts who had helped evaluate humanity's achievement. Admiral He Jin, Research Director Young Mei, Lead Scientist Kyung Mai, and diplomat Sung Ho all sat together, their combined wisdom having helped shape the Council's decision. At first, many feared that Earth's silence was a prelude to war, Won Seok continued. Some felt betrayed that humans had hidden their true capabilities. But now we understand that humanity chose the path of patience and wisdom. He activated the chamber's display system, showing the transformed Earth glowing at the center of its beautiful network of quantum satellites. They could have used their discoveries to dominate, he said. Instead, they perfected their transformation until it could be safely shared with all. They kept their advances secret not out of fear or mistrust, but out of responsibility. Won Seok turned to face Ambassador Duhyun directly. Humanity has shown us that true advancement comes not from conquering others, but from mastering ourselves. They have found a way to evolve beyond physical and mental limitations while preserving what makes each being unique. The chamber was completely silent as Won Seok prepared to announce the Council's decision. Every being present knew they were witnessing a moment that would change galactic history. Therefore, Won Seok declared, the Galactic Council accepts humanity's invitation. We will begin a careful, coordinated program to share this transformation with all species who wish to participate. Earth will guide us, but each civilization will be free to adapt the process to their own biology and culture. Ambassador Duhyun stood and bowed respectfully. We are honored by your trust. The path of transformation will be open to all, but none will be forced to walk it. Each species, each individual will choose their own time. Won Seok smiled. Perhaps this is why humanity needed to walk this path first. You have shown us that evolution does not require us to lose ourselves. Instead, it allows us to become more fully what we already are. The chamber erupted in excited discussion as representatives began planning how their species would approach this new opportunity. Won Seok watched them with satisfaction, knowing that fear had given way to hope. Later, standing with the key figures who had helped understand humanity's transformation, Won Seok reflected on how quickly everything had changed. A week ago, we thought Earth's silence meant danger, he said. Now we understand it was simply the quiet moment before a butterfly emerges from its chrysalis. And now the galaxy itself will transform, Kyung Mai added, her scientific mind already exploring the possibilities. Won Seok nodded, watching Earth's glow in the display. The sleeping giant had indeed awakened, not to wage war, but to offer the galaxy a gift. The next step in the great journey of consciousness itself.